We do have Josh Scott in the green room. We're going to bring him on, and we want to remind everybody that Coach's Corners with Josh Scott are presented very proudly by the community caregivers of the Valley. So, Coach Scott, thank you so much for joining us today, and we appreciate your time. And, man, what a good start to the season you guys are having.
Yeah, thank you very much. I love getting on and talking with you guys. I listen to you quite a bit. Just really appreciate everything you're doing. And, we're really excited about our season and what we're doing so far, for sure.
Coach, I mean, just talking about your offense, I think there's no doubt in what you guys have been able to do. It's been very impressive. Obviously, we know Jonathan Berdovich is a huge guy that is definitely contributing in that, but it's obviously a team effort, and the team itself is scoring in high bunches. What do you kind of attribute to the success of that team, and what was it that you worked on in the offseason that you are seeing now pay off on the court?
Yeah, we're just we talked a ton about pace. And trying to work a lot on skill and being able to shoot the ball, handle pass, all the fundamental stuff over the summer, and took a lot of pride in that. And after after the COVID summer that we had last year, it's something that we kind of looked at and said, wow, look at the value of, obviously you can go off to leagues and camps and everything, but there's so much value in just getting better at home a little bit too. And I think that was the challenge for all of our boys. Was everybody knows Jonathan Berdovich, and they should. I mean, he's an elite type player, and it was more about challenging the rest of the team to say, what about you, and how can I impact this game? And I don't want to be that throwaway player that just everybody else is worried about one kid and not gonna respect my game too. So a lot of those kids just are playing with a chip on the shoulder.
I think when seeing your scores, everyone's going to talk about your offense, and rightfully so. Like we said, they've been really scoring at a very high clip, and they should be talked about. They're putting in the work. Talk about your defense, because these have not been 75 to 70 games. They've been 75 to 40 games. Your defense is complementing your offense and letting you guys really play well on both sides of the floor.
Yeah, I think that that's something else we've worked a ton on, is that pace both ways. We're trying to get up the floor pretty quick, and we're also trying to slow the other team down and maybe make them uncomfortable a little bit. And it's just something that we've said this is going to be our identity. And fortunately enough for this team, I think we found that identity sooner than even last year's team. It's just kind of it was almost out of necessity, just because we're not very big. So all the guys that we put out there, everybody is a capable shooter, everybody's a capable passer, ball handler, and a willing defender. And that's something we're trying to get better with. Truthfully, I think that there's some of the kids, and especially over the years, Heartland's been a team that wasn't the strongest every single year, but we've tried to improve on that. But I'll go into the locker room and at halftime and go, hey, there's no reason that we've given up 21 points at half here. It's because of XYZ, the things that we control. And the kids are looking around like, hey, but we're up 20. And it's like, if you want to have those expectations of having a very successful program, you got to learn that you got to do all the little things the right way. So that's something we're trying to improve on for sure.
I'm sure as well as a lot of the Heartland community, that Jonathan Berdovich is up for big dog honors. So I do want to give you the opportunity. Obviously, the community and people outside know what he's able to do on the court, the X's and O's of the game. I want you to kind of give me an inside the locker room on reasons why big dog honors are deserved for someone like Berdovich, and why he is more than just the 59 points on a night or the 20 plus points on any given night for your team.
Yeah, you know what? I think that we talked to the other kids, the other players, and I've told them, they've earned the right to shoot the ball and have the green light and play at the pace that they're doing because of all the hard work they've put in. But you look at a kid like Jonathan, and since day one when he came over, there's nobody that's going to outwork him. It's just impossible. He's the hardest working kid I've ever seen live anyway. I mean, it's crazy. He's the kid that wants to shoot after basketball games. He's the kid that, we have practice at 8 a.m. just this past Saturday. Can I get in at 7 after a Friday night game? And you just don't have that in today's world. I mean, it's just the truth. And I mean, he goes and does all the extras. He has personal training. He has skills training. He goes above and beyond, and he's just put the time in And again, it's one of those things, there's times where I was just telling another coach I was talking to today, sometimes you just let them go. It's like, the kids call it heat check, but he's just that type of kid. He's just earned that right. And he's earned everything he's gotten, and he's had to work really hard for what he's gotten. Because obviously he wasn't blessed with like 6'5", height. He's a shorter guard, but he makes up for it in all of his skill, that he's able to show. So
let's talk in a little bit more detail about your last win over Latonia. You guys won 74-38. Talk about what went really right in that game and what went well and what you saw from your team from an execution standpoint in that game by itself.
I was really excited to see our shooting early. Latonia came and they were the first team to really zone us, and we were really interested to see how our kids would respond. But I've told our guys that they should be licking their chops. If there's a zone, then that means you're going to get a set shot somewhere, and it's probably going to be from outside. And I'm actually a lot different than, if you ask my former Sebring kids, putting up 35, 43s in a game, they would have laughed and said, there's no way coach would allow that. But, I've tried to adapt and learn. And, for this team, fire it up. We're capable. That's a good shot for us. And we hit 11, I want to say 11 threes in the first half, out of that zone, and different kids were hitting them. And so I was really excited about that. Now we definitely cooled off after. I think we only made 12 total after that. But I think the kids at halftime, heard coach talking about moving the ball and trying to get to the basket a little bit too. But it was definitely just good to see our execution against the zone early on, just because we hadn't seen that yet.
Looking at it too, we know that defensively, this is going to be a tough matchup with Jackson Milton that you're going to be having coming up. Looking at this matchup though with the Blue Jays, what is that offense going to need to kind of operate in to kind of curb that defense that Jackson Milton's going to bring, as well as on the defensive end? What are you going to need to do to slow down that Blue Jays offense that has a lot of newer faces this year?
Yeah, I think, probably just getting them uncomfortable, because they're going to be very comfortable in their home setting. And, Coach Procopio does such a good job over there. He always has his kids fired up and ready to play, and they always play physical, but they do it the right way. And that's what's really cool about them. And we have a lot of respect for Jackson Milton. And, we've told our kids this is a huge game for us. And every game, everybody, 4-0 is great and all those things, but we can't let that get to our head, because our opponents continually get tougher. Jackson Milton's a very good defensive team year in, year out. Louisville's undefeated on Friday. We've got Crestview, who just played Louisville tough after that over in Cleveland next week. And, you just go right down that list and you keep going. I'm not the guy that likes to look too far ahead, but I've tried to use that as an example that our games continually get tougher and tougher. And, we're just going to have to make teams uncomfortable. I think that's the biggest thing, is don't let them run their stuff, because we're not the type of team that can just sit back. If you watch the United game, Steph and Jarrett had 23 points because we were getting into the half court and they were just lobbing it in, and we have no one to stop a big guy like that. So, it's just playing our game at our pace and making the other team uncomfortable.
The more you win, the more you succeed this year, especially if you keep going on this undefeated pace. I know that the more effort you're going to get from the teams you play, the more target on your back you're going to have, the bigger target, I should say. Have you had conversations with not just the players, but the coaching staff about how a mentality might change a little bit as you get further along and teams that target might get a little bit bigger, and how that mentality has to change between underdog and favorite in games?
Yeah, I think that's just something we all have to get used to here at Heartland. And I think, I always try to keep our kids grounded. I think that's super important. And it's all about respecting every single team that we play and having that true respect for our opponent. And I just think that that's something they're going to have to learn. And sometimes it might be through a loss. It might be, a difficult practice. You don't know, but it just, those things happen, but it's about how we adjust. And we had some of that last year too. It's like those kids have never, Stephen Baker graduated last year. He came up to me and at one point in the season, he said, I just don't know how to handle these expectations. This is not something I've ever been used to and been a part of. And, as a coach, you don't think much of it because, you're just, I live for practices, and I get excited for those. And then, the games are more about just let the kids go showcase what we've done. But I don't think into that too much. I don't worry about, what's our record supposed to be, look at like the preseason and say, okay, we should win 15 games this year or whatever. I don't worry about that because that takes care of itself. It's more about our mentality going in, and, we just have to do a good job as a staff is keeping these guys grounded and understanding that, the schedule, it definitely gets tougher. Not that there's, we've played some good teams already, but these teams that are coming up, they're, Urban Academy, for example, I just watched them play West Branch to like a 10-point game. And, that's a team that we beat twice last year pretty handily, and it's not the same team. So, we just have to constantly remind our guys that we have to respect these opponents that are coming up.
Coach, obviously every coach goes into a season trying to be prepared for anything and always expect the unexpected, but any early season surprise with the team, whether it be on the floor, off the floor, in the locker room, with a certain individual, just any early season surprises with the team?
Nothing crazy. I would say the biggest surprise for this team is just the maturity level of our kids, because we have such a mix of, we have 6 seniors, in what we call our varsity 12, and guys that come in. We have 6 seniors, 3 juniors, and 3 more sophomores that come in and play big minutes. So we have some youth infused with some of those older guys, and a lot of the older guys were playing JV last year too as juniors and sophomores. So, I've seen just a lot of maturity from the guys, and it's really crazy that, I don't have to get on them about, hey, pay attention to what I'm saying, or, it's just like they come in, they have a workman-like attitude, and not a lot of goofing off. I actually said we need to go bowling or something, just because we need to go have some fun, because the kids a lot of times are just, they want to come in, they get their job done, and off they go. So I've said that's something that we actually kind of need to infuse in our team. I think is just to have a little, breath of fresh air of just, hey, let's just hang out for a minute instead of, constantly go, go, go. But I think it's just something they've taken pride in, and they're learning to have those expectations. So that's definitely been a pleasant surprise for our team.
Coach, everyone knows that great teams always strive to get better at things, no matter how good things are going. You're sitting at 4-0, your offense is scoring a lot, your defense is playing well. What kind of things do you still want to see improvements on going forward in the season?
I think it's just the fundamental stuff that we can take care of. Those are things like I mentioned earlier. I think we just need to shore up some things defensively, and our communication needs to improve. I think we talked about that the last time I was on. The communication was really important to me. It's definitely not good enough yet. And the beauty about our team is I think we're nowhere near the ceiling. I don't think that our potential has not been tapped all the way yet. So I feel like we can definitely improve in a lot of areas. But obviously we're doing some things really, really well right now, but there's other things that we can improve on. And that starts, I think, at the defensive end. I know, we held Latonia in the 30s, but, we also gave up 70 in a game. We've given up 60. That comes with extra possessions. I understand that. And I told the kids, I definitely will sympathize with that, but there's just way too many right now plays that we can control defensively, and on the offensive too, but mostly on the defensive end that we can control and fix. And we're going to need to as we get further into the season and play some of these really tough opponents.
I know, obviously, that the community behind Heartland Christian is a very strong one, too, and one that supports you guys very, very well. So just talk a little bit about how important that community support has been early on in the season, and give them kind of a calling if anyone's on the fence about going out to Jackson Milton and supporting you guys on this one, what you're going to need for that road victory.
Yeah, it's truly like an extended family. Heartland has such a uniqueness about the school. I always kind of wondered what it would be like. I was always in the public schools, and it's been really amazing so far. It's been really just a real blessing to be with all of these people who really support you and treat you like you're an extended family member of their own. It's their willingness to help, just their willingness to allow us to coach the way that we'd like to. And their support it's been really special, and something that we as a staff, my dad and I especially, but we talk about that a lot. It's just it's refreshing, and it's something that we just really cherish right now. The fact that we have outspoken people within the Heartland community that really are supporting what we're doing and believing in us, and that means the world. I think it shows. It just shows with the crowd, the amount of crowd that we have, and the success of the program. It's not a one person thing. It's not Josh Scott came in and did this. It takes a village to do that, and I think that it starts with great parenting. Susie Shields and what she's done as the athletic director for us since we've started and provided for us. It goes right down the line. So,
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to catch up with you and get a little bit of a insight on what's been going on so well in these first 4 games. Good luck tonight. Me and Ty both picked you in our game picks. No pressure at all, though.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and hope to talk to you guys again soon. It's always a pleasure.
You're always welcome on the show, Josh. So
hey,
thank you for coming on.
Okay, thank you guys. All right, bye-bye.